All right, everybody, welcome to the video here for lesson number 13 on the end behavior of polynomials. So there were 4 different types of end behaviors that we learned in class today. We discovered them by looking at functions, and they are all outlined for you here on the last page of the lesson. Okay? These are 4 things that you can't kind of figure out on yourself. You have to just do some studying. Okay? So let's take a look. So the first one says state the end behavior for the following functions without using a graphing calculator. So we don't need a calculator for this because I could just look at the first term. And the first term tells me what type of function I have. So since this has an even degree and is negative, this is going to be a down-down function. So we're going to say as the x values decrease, the function values are going to also decrease. As the x values increase, the function values are going to then decrease. Remember, when making this notation, the only thing that changes is here. For the second one, g of x, again, we're just looking at the first term. Since this is an odd degree polynomial, the function is going to begin and end in opposite directions. And since it's positive, it's going to start down and end up. So we're going to say as the function decreases, on the x-axis, the function is going to decrease. As the function increases, the function is going to increase. Number 2, sketch the graph of the function by examining the end behavior, the leading coefficient, and the zeros of the function. So first, let's find the leading coefficient, right? So leading coefficient, leading term is going to be 2 times x times x times x squared. So that's going to become 2x to the 4th. That's the first term. So leading coefficient is 2, and the exponent is 4. So because of that, I know this function is going to be up, up. So the end behavior is as the x values decrease, the function values are going to increase. As the x values increase, the function value is going to increase. The zeros of this function. So again, we start with the smallest one, so -5 has a multiplicity of 2. We have -1, which has a multiplicity of 1, which we don't have to write, and 3. These multiplicities should add up to 4 because that was my degree, which they do. So now we know what this function looks like. So when I start graphing this, I'm going to put -5 on my graph. I'm going to start from up top and come down. At -5, it's going to bounce or be tangent to the x-axis because the multiplicity is even. It's then going to turn and go back to -1. But at -1, it's going to pass through the x-axis. So it's going to pass through the x-axis. And then it's going to come back through at 3. So it's going to turn back up and go to 3. Give it its name. We are done. We know all of this without touching a calculator. Number 3, I said to skip because the picture did not come out. Number 4 says describe the end behavior of the function f of x shown below. If f is a polynomial, determine the leading coefficient is positive or negative, and if it's even or odd. So the end behavior, as the x values go down, this goes up. As the x values go up, the function goes down. So this is going to be a end behavior that looks like this. As the x values decrease, the function values f are going to increase. As the function values increase, the values are decreasing. So what does that tell us about my first term? I know the leading coefficient is negative, and I know that the exponent or the degree is odd. Number 5, can you sketch a graph of an odd degree polynomial with no x-intercepts? Explain your reasoning. The answer to this question is no. Here's why. If it's an odd degree polynomial, it's either going to finish up and down or down to up. Either way, it's ending in opposite direction. So if I had an x and a y-axis, I can do whatever I want. Doesn't matter. I have to end this function up here. It's got to have to cross the x-axis, no matter what happens in the middle. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Keep watching the videos. If you have to look back at old videos, just keep in mind the test is starting to come up. We're almost done with the chapter here, so keep up with your homework, keep up with your study, and you guys will be fine. Good luck.